The Motown decisions, the Four Tops never forgot.
Baby, baby, don't leave me. Ooh.
10 Motown decisions the Four Tops carried with them for the rest of their lives. Some of these decisions built them, some of them broke them. Every one of them was made in a room the four of them were not standing in. And before we start, I want to be precise about something. This is not a story about a group that failed. The Four Tops sold millions of records for that company. They put 2 singles at number 1. They stayed together longer than almost any group in American popular music. The same 4 men, no replacements, no lineup changes, for over 4 decades. That is what makes this list what it is. Because everything you are about to hear happened to a group that did everything right. 10. The decision to sign them as a jazz act. Before I tell you what Motown did with them, I need to tell you who walked through that door. 4 men from Detroit, Levi Stubbs and Duke Fakir out of Pershing High, Obie, Benson, and Lawrence Payton out of Northern. They had been singing together since the early 50s, when they called themselves the Four Aims. And they had already lived a whole career before Motown ever existed as a name anyone knew. Chess, Red Top, Riverside, Columbia. Columbia steered them toward the supper clubs, jazz and pop standards, and during that period, they toured with Billy Eckstine. 10 years of work, almost nothing to show for it. They signed with Motown in April 1963 and recorded an album of standards for the company's workshop jazz imprint called Breaking Through. And then the label made a decision. Berry Gordy scrapped it and switched them back to R&B. Now, history proved that call correct. Everything you love about the Four Tops exists because of it. But hold this, an entire finished album by 4 grown men who had waited a decade for someone to press their record was put in a vault. In an interview years later, Levi Stubbs said flatly that it was never released. It stayed unheard until 1999, when it finally came out on CD. 36 years. That is not a delay, that is a lifetime. 9. The decision to use them as background singers. To understand this one, you have to understand what these 4 voices actually were. Lawrence Payton was the arranger, the one who worked out the harmony. Duke Fakir was the first tenor. Obie Benson held the bottom. And Levi Stubbs sang lead, like the song had personally wronged him.
Please don't leave me all by myself.
Together they were By the reckoning of nearly everyone who worked at that building, the most polished vocal group on the property.
Baby, baby, where did I
They had been perfecting that blend in nightclubs since Eisenhower.
I've got this yearning, burning yearning.
So Motown put them to work on other people's records.
And all your promises.
While waiting, they filled time singing backup on Motown singles, including When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes. That was the Supremes.
Yearning, burning, yearning, feeling understanding.
The Four Tops sang background on that record, and on Run, 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 and on Penny Pincher.
Ooh, baby.
Love Light became the Supremes' first top 40 record on the Billboard Hot 100, the breakthrough after 7 singles that hadn't gotten there. Sit with that arrangement for a second.
You were already gone, but now that
The men who had been waiting 10 years for a hit were standing behind the microphone helping somebody else get theirs.
with a burning love.
If your mother had a Supremes 45 in the house, the Four Tops were already in your living room and you never knew it.
Don't you want me? Don't you want me no more?
And it was on that backup work that Brian Holland and Lamont Dozier noticed how the Tops' voices blended with the Andantes.
Baby, before you went my heart now.
A sound they decided they had to have. So the decision cost them time. And it also, eventually, gave them everything. Both of those things are true, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. Real talk. Only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's one coffee a month and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. 8. The decision to write in the wrong key. Levi Stubbs was a baritone. I want to start there, because almost everything else about him follows from it. Most vocal groups of that era were fronted by tenors. Stubbs' baritone was what set the Tops apart. He was gospel trained. He worked fast, satisfying producers with 2 or 3 vocal takes, preferring to write out the lyrics first. Often with Eddie Holland singing them to him verse by verse, so he could absorb the meaning before he sang a note. And then Motown's writers made a decision about that voice. They wrote his songs in a tenor range on purpose, so his gospel-laced vocals would carry a greater sense of urgency. According to Duke Fakir, they put him at the very top of his range deliberately to make sure he'd have that cry and hunger in his voice. Here is the part I need you to hold.
If it means having you to keep.
Stubbs complained. He said he did not sound good hitting those notes.
Get on down.
And Eddie Holland told him that when he struggled up there, it sounded like someone hurting, an emotionally evocative quality that could not be faked.
Lately I've been losing sleep, yo. Baby, I need.
So every time you have ever heard Levi Stubbs sound like a man on the edge of breaking, that was not entirely acting.
Baby, I need your
Some of it was strain, real strain, engineered on purpose by people who understood exactly what it would do to a listener. It started with the first one, Baby I Need Your Loving, was cut in the early morning hours of July 8, 1964, and was in stores 2 days later. It reached number 11 on the Hot 100, their first Motown single, and their first million seller. 10 years of waiting, answered in one night's work. 7. The decision to release Reach Out Anyway. You know this song. It has been in your life a long time.
When you feel lost and about to give up.
It has been at weddings you attended and in films you half remember, and on the radio in cars you no longer own. But knowing the song and knowing what it cost, those are two different kinds of knowing. Let me give you the second one. Holland Dozier Holland were partly inspired by Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone, and they placed Reach Out in the highest reaches of Levi Stubbs' range, forcing the vocal to sound rough and urgent. Arranger Paul Reiser overdubbed a piccolo and flute into the intro, and built a drum pattern by striking a tambourine head with timpani mallets. Nothing about it sounded like a hit record in 1966, and the Four Tops knew it. After hearing the finished version, the group begged Berry Gordy not to release it. In Fakir's words, the song felt a little odd to them. Gordy insisted it go out as a single. It spent 2 weeks at number 1 on the R&B chart and 2 weeks at number 1 on the Hot 100 in October of 1966. A Detroit disc jockey named Scott Regan ran into Levi after the session. Stubbs told him he did not like the way they had made him shout.
Just look over your shoulder.
Regan heard the record and told him he was wrong, that it was going to be a number 1. So the decision was right. Gordy was right. And I still want you to notice what it means that 4 grown professionals with a decade of stage experience were overruled about their own voices. And that the overruling is now remembered as genius. That is how it worked in that building. Sometimes it produced a masterpiece. Sometimes it produced something else. 6. The 24-hour decision. By the summer of 1965, the Four Tops were the hottest vocal group in America. I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie, Honey Bunch had gone all the way to number 1 that spring. And that success created a problem, because the Four Tops had a past. They had signed with Columbia in 1960 and released a single called Ain't That Love, written by Levi Stubbs himself, before moving on. Once I Can't Help Myself hit number 1, Columbia moved to cash in and re-released that 5-year-old record. Watch what Motown did. Berry Gordy ordered that a new four-top single had to be out within a day. At 3 o'clock that afternoon, the Hollands and Lamont Dozier wrote, "It's the same old song." Chief Engineer Lawrence Horn oversaw the cutting of roughly 300 discs by hand. Within 24 hours, about 1,500 copies were in the hands of key radio DJs across the country. It reached number 5 on the Hot 100 and number 2 on the R&B chart. Columbia's reissue stalled at number 93. Total, decisive protection of an artist in one day. And I will say clearly what most people won't. Remember that Motown could move like this. Remember that this company knew exactly how to use a back catalog as a weapon and exactly how fast it could act when it decided an artist was worth defending. Because 7 years later, it pointed that same weapon in the other direction. Everything after this point is about what happened when the protection stopped. 5. The decision to let the writers walk. You cannot tell this part without naming 3 people who were not in the group. Brian Holland, Lamont Dozier, Eddie Holland. They wrote and produced nearly every record that made the Four Tops immortal. Duke Fakir called them geniuses at tailoring a song to an artist. And in 1967, they went to war with Berry Gordy. The dispute was over profit sharing and royalties. Eddie Holland had the others stage a work slowdown, and by early 1968, the trio had left the label. Motown sued them for breach of contract. They countersued, and the case was not settled until 1977. Now, that fight was not about the Four Tops. Nobody was thinking about the Four Tops. But look what it did to them. Their next 2 hits, in 1968, were both covers of recent songs by other artists. The Left Bankies' Walk Away Renee and Tim Hardin's If I Were a Carpenter. Those covers came off the Reach Out album, and they were selected by Berry Gordy. The same album had them singing The Monkees. Think about what that says. The greatest male vocal group at Motown, in their absolute prime, handed other people's hits because the men who wrote for them had walked out over money. That is the cost of a business dispute, paid by 4 people who were not party to it. 4. The decision about what's going on. Ronaldo Obie Benson sang the bottom of the Four Tops. He was also a writer, a real one, not a hobbyist. On May 15, 1969, the group's tour bus arrived in Berkeley, and Benson witnessed police violence in People's Park during an anti-war protest. The day that became known as Bloody Thursday. said afterward, he started wondering what was going on, what was happening here. Why were they sending kids overseas? Why were they attacking their own kids in the street? He took it to Motown songwriter Al Cleveland, who wrote and composed a song around what Benson had seen. And then he brought it home to his own group. The other Four Tops turned it down. Benson's account. His partners told him it was a protest song. He told them no, it was a love song, about love and understanding. He wasn't protesting. He wanted to know what was going on. The concern was that a protest song did not fit their clean-cut image. He offered it to Joan Baez on a British television show. She declined too. Finally, he took it to Marvin Gaye, who wanted to give it to the originals, and Benson got him to sing it himself by offering him a cut of the royalties. Motown initially refused to release it, calling it uncommercial. It eventually reached number 2 on the pop chart and number 1 on R&B. I know. I felt the same way when I put the timeline together. This one was not done to them. This one they did, and it is the only entry on this list where the Four Tops made the wrong call about the Four Tops. I am including it because a proper telling includes the parts that are not flattering. 3. The decision to fold them into the Supremes. By 1970, the Four Tops had been a top-tier act at that company for 6 straight years. 27 R&B hits, 2 number ones, a live reputation built in nightclubs before Motown existed. And Motown's plan for them was to pair them with somebody else. 3 joint albums with the post-Diana Ross Supremes, billed as the Magnificent Seven, starting in September 1970. It followed the pattern Motown had already used with the Supremes and the Temptations, and the assumption appeared to be that the group names alone would guarantee sales. With little attention paid to content and an absence of original material. 2 established groups, 7 professional singers, covers. Then the second album produced a single called You Gotta Have Love in Your Heart. It was essentially a Jean Terrell lead with Levi Stubbs patched in across 4 verses. And just as it started to take off, Motown pulled it. One theory was that it had to do with the ongoing negotiations to re-sign the Four Tops. The record stopped at 55 pop and 41 R&B. Stubbs was bitter about that album's failure, and it pushed the group further toward leaving. And if this is the first you are hearing that the Four Tops and the Supremes made 3 albums together, that is not your fault, but it does not have to stay that way. 2. The decision to use their own record against them. This is the story I told you was coming. In April of 1972, Motown released a Four Tops album called Nature Planned It, produced by Frank Wilson. It charted poorly on release, while the group was negotiating to re-sign with the label. They were offered what they considered an insulting sum to stay, and they signed with ABC Dunhill instead. Beginning work on Keeper of the Castle, and then Motown made a choice. In an effort to blunt the group's future sales at another label, Motown reissued Nature Planned It. And this time it performed, reaching number 50 on the pop chart. Now go back 7 years with me. 1965, Columbia dug up an old Four Tops record to cash in on the group's success at their new label. And Motown moved heaven and earth in 24 hours to protect them from it. In 1972, Motown ran the same play, Against Them. That is not neglect. That is not a company distracted or overextended or making a bad guess about the market. That is an institution that understood precisely how the tactic worked, because it had once defended these four men from it. And then used it on them the moment they walked out the door. And whether anyone in that building thought about how that would land on Levi Stubbs, Duke Fakir, Obie Benson, and Lawrence Payton, I think you already know the answer. And now you have the full picture, which means you are ready for the meeting. 1. I think it's time to let you go. Let me tell you who these four men were. By 1972, before I tell you what was said to them. They had been singing together since the early 50s. Over 4 decades, the original lineup never changed. Not one personnel change. Levi Stubbs rejected solo offers and even turned down a film role opposite Diana Ross, staying loyal to the group until the end. Despite being the most prominent member, he refused separate billing. No lawsuits between them, no feuds, no walkouts. By 1972, they had racked up 27 U.S. R&B hits for Berry Gordy's label. That year, Motown announced the entire company was moving to Los Angeles and that its artists were expected to move as well. The Four Tops were Detroit men. They stayed. Then came the meeting. This is Duke Fakir's account. They came in to negotiate a new contract in 1972 with a company executive, since Gordy had already moved to Los Angeles and was less involved. As soon as they sat down, the man said they were there to talk about a new contract and that he thought it was time to let them go, that they'd had a good run. Fakir said they looked at each other, astonished. He wanted to hit him. He asked if the man meant to terminate them. The answer was yes. They'd probably find a deal someplace. Fakir said they were so mad, and it hurt, and they wanted to cry.
Every day the sun
The president who showed them the door was Ewart Abner.
walks on, 'cause it's my word shall.
The Four Tops didn't want to move west and were promptly fired. Some of you just got quiet. That is the right response. They found a deal in weeks. Fakir said they got more than they had been asking Motown for.
I'm going, put a little music in.
Keeper of the Castle became their first top 10 hit in years, and Ain't No Woman, Like the One I've Got, went gold in early 1973.
Wouldn't be surprised if my love
They were never told they weren't good enough. They were told they'd had a good run.